All right, it is time to do some edits here. Good morning, afternoon, or evening, whatever time you're watching this. My name is Ron, and I'm going to be showing you how to edit these branded headshots with shot on white and a window look. Now, I've done some edits for different styles of hair, but I wanted to show a little bit of a quicker process for guys. It's not as in-depth as the women. It's less retouching, but it's still the same principle, and most times it's not a lot of hair. This particular guy here has some in there, so I think it'll be pretty easy. So let's just do that real fast for the guys. This is a good example for it. So we're going to bring this into Photoshop. Okay. First thing is we're going to duplicate this layer, and then I'm going to open my, I did that already. I'm going to open my backgrounds. This will be supplied with the tools needed to replace or add a window to the scene, plus a little sauce folder with color. You'll see here in a second. All right, I'll put that on top. I took that duplicate file that I made. I'm going to put that on top of all the images, and all those images are so you can choose a background that works according to this. It's just a preference to be able to swap in and out. Some work for some people, and then other colors work for others, or other backgrounds and styles. It just comes down to judgment and picking the right one. Not too hard. So we're going to do a quick selection tool there, right on this top duplicate layer. We're going to select just the subject. Don't select the negative space, select the subject. Don't worry about the nitty-gritty. Make sure you get the ear. We don't want any Van Goghs, you know. And so that looks good. We're going to go select a mask up here at the top, and we're going to change the view, not to onion skin, but on the layer. So now we can see what's kind of going on. You can see I missed part of his tie. Sometimes on my particular shoots, the selections, sometimes I miss this guy. Oh, wrong tool. Go to this top tool, quick select tool, and just go ahead and select it back. Okay, now we're going to go down to Refine Edge Brush tool, the middle one here. And most of his shoulders and everything cut out immediately. That was pretty good. We got a little bit of edging, white edging on here on his chin, no problem there. And some around his neck, not a problem. Main thing is the hair, even though it looks pretty close with this sky background. We're going to come in here and go to Output Settings, Decontaminate Colors, and this is where the secret is. You're going to paint here. It's going to pull that hair, and it's going to apply a dark pixel around the area you're painting, so you don't have this kind of ghosting you saw earlier on the chin. I don't know why that just went away. But keep going. Always work kind of around the hair. You can see how some of those hair details are coming back in. This is great. And pretty simple. Guys are always really easy for this process. Women usually have longer hair, and that could take a little bit more time, which is not hard either. You'll see in some of my other videos. And actually, I'm going to undo that guy, and I'll just get this guy. Sometimes the beard, since it's so close to that edge, it doesn't quite do what I'd like to do with the hair, but sometimes it does, and you just do a very, very simple detailed brush mask, and just inside Photoshop, and we'll do that here in a little bit. Okay, so hit OK. We're going to come back in. All right, so we're going to grab these two layers, this top layer that was created with on the output. I forgot to show that on your output, go new layer and with mask, new layer with mask. So click that one, and the one we duplicated originally, hit Command G so that groups together, or make a folder and put them both in there. Grab this mask, put it on the folder, and then grab the one layer we originally duplicated, put it on top. Turn it on and do an inverted mask. So what we'll do, the purpose of this layer, the one we duplicated from, is there's a little bit of color ghosting that we use for the decontaminated color that's a little extra on the edges. We can remove that with the reverse mask, and we can gain that hair detail back with leaving the edge the way that we want it without the white edging. So we paint back the hair detail really quick. You don't even have to go in that tight to do this. It's not a tedious process. You just kind of paint it back so it gets rid of some blurring and adds some of that detail back. When these images are small, like a thumbnail, you're not even going to notice anyway, but it's just nice to be able to paint that detail back. And look at that. The hair is pretty much blended in. And so if I change my background, you'll see like a little bit there, but not too bad. I could do further cleaning up, and I could, if I had wanted to use this background, I could. So that's not a big deal. I'm going to turn on some of these. Let me go to this blue or white, sky, it doesn't matter. This was one of my sales guys, so I'm going to go with an image here. Not that one. I like this one, but I try to keep those for my executives. This isn't bad. I'm going to come back to this one. Not too much. It's a little bit too bold. Let's do here. I'm going to slide this guy over a little bit. Nice. Okay, what we can do is delete all these other ones. So this is the one we want. I always throw a curves on this and do a adjust only to that layer, and drop that down just a hair so you get a little bit of a separation between the subject and the background, because I shot these a little bit higher. And so what we're going to do, first thing we'll do is make sure we got our edges all clean. A lot of times these are perfect straight out of the gate, but there are instances of just a little bit of cleanup. Pretty easy. Looks like I'm 8 minutes in and we're doing pretty good. Standing, sometimes my lower shoulder here gets a little bit of edges on a jacket that may have just a smidge of folds. No worries, pretty simple. Nothing too complicated. Looks fine. You could always just do a shift click and go a little easier. Straight line. Okay, and sometimes right on the ear is just a little bit much. Okay, good. That's just his hair. Do a little bit of cleanup there. Do a little bit of cleanup in the bathroom, get that ear hair. Don't let your client sit with you as you edit them, just that's a tip. They don't need to see their imperfections the way that you see them. Learn that the hard way, especially if you're married to them, or you take your wife or husband's picture. Don't do that. Stay away from that. You get to edit their pores, and then they will always see their pores in that fashion. Okay. Not bad. Looks pretty good. I'm going to come in here to my base layer. This right here, this image up here, will serve as the kind of the hair detail brought back. You could collapse this if you want. I like to just always keep it there. Please, just for my files, just keep it there, just in case I see something later I need to go back and fix. I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna do my spot healing brush. Go into there. Just do a little bit of a cleanup here. Sometimes some gray hairs. You know the routine. Maybe a zit, or just a red mole or anomaly there. Sometimes you get some microsties. Classic cleanup. If you've already seen this, you could probably skip ahead and be done to our sauce color here. This is where, this is an area where, specifically for me, this is where to pay attention to. This color, this brand color here, I want you to start on this blue right here and take your brush and put on black, and we're going to paint out the, so it already has a layer mask that's set up that way. We're going to take a brush and paint out the blue on his skin. If you have a lady with skin on a dress or something, you would always just, paint the skin and the hair, and then we will paint back some on the hair just so it blends a little bit better. That's fine. Probably don't even have to. Cool. All right, we're gonna go to this sand dune here. It's just a light, I want a little bit of light on the shoulder. I'm gonna go a small amount of three or four or five, something like that, just to add a little bit of light that my, not too much on the face though, that my kicker light, I can always add a little bit more. It's there, just add it. It doesn't take long. Same thing on the blue, we're gonna go here. Not too much on that one. Blue, corner, edge. I'm noticing that I have a little bit of a white here that's drawing my attention, so I'm gonna go just to my main mask, and I'm gonna paint this guy back in. My kicker light caught a little bit of that edge. That's fine. I could probably paint the rest of that. Yeah, I'll leave it. Okay, now this curves right here. This will be for the eyes. And what I want you to do, I learned this from a guy named Danny Diamond. Instagram, check him out. You just kind of paint back in around the eye, around here. He probably does it with a little bit higher value. But just a little bit, it just makes those eyes come out a little bit more. And then it's some here. Let's see. So, I believe we're good here. Yeah. For cleanup, there's a little bit of I think his eye is a little bit smaller than this one. This isn't required, but this is just something that I see. I'm gonna take his eye and just barely increase this size. I think it's this one. Yep. Just a slight little bit. It's not much. Some people are just cognizant of that. I'll show you. And with something like Portrait Pro, I don't have it on this machine right now, but it was like Aesthetic. I think that's the company. They have Portrait Pro version 18. It's been out for a while. I've used it several times. So if you're using that to clean up the image, I'm okay with that. Just be very, very careful with overdoing it. Sometimes it's just too much, and less is more. But it's a great way to slim. I love the lifting of the neck. I love the narrowing of the jaw for women, and maybe a little bit of the fullness of the hair, like a value of 7, and the skin, and sometimes even that lighting tool. It works a little bit, depends. But the skin cleanup around the eyes and stuff is really, really great. This particular guy doesn't really need a whole lot of cleanup here. He may feel it around the eye, see it around the eyes, and wonder, hey man, why don't you clean up my eyes a little bit? So I'll do that a little. There's a couple of tricks. I'll do an adjustment layer, and I'm gonna go right here. I'm gonna go to adjustments. Oh wait, let me see. I'm gonna show you again. Click on right here, the adjustment, not the layer, the mask, but just the adjustment itself, and click on this, the black point. Double click on it. Select the skin color that you want right here for under the eyes. We're going to paint in some of the skin tone. Click OK, and then hit No, and then I want you to eyedrop the area you want to paint in. So it's going to give me a bright value. I want you to click back on this layer and then invert it. And come in here and go to a value of like 6, maybe even less, and then we're going to paint in the area. I'm going to paint some of these cracks around the eyes. I'm just going to paint it in with the curves so it's not so predominant, but it's still kind of there. You could do this with other parts of skin as well. Probably didn't in the last one. See the difference in there? Get a little bit back. I'll show you another trick inside the eyes. Curves again, same premise. Click on this guy. We're going to go here. We're going to make his eyes pop a little bit more. I'm going to grab this greenish yellow here. Or it's like a greenish brown, sorry. Click OK. No, we're going to select the value way up here in this dark side of his eye. Click OK. We're going to do the same thing again. Go inverse. And what you want to do is with a lower value again, maybe like 6. You want to paint the bottom of where I have a light reflector here, not up here, but down here. You want that light to catch on his eyes. There. And I'll kind of show you what's going on. Plus, we're going to turn down the value as well. I'm going to paint in some of that. Now watch this. It just adds a little bit of light pop to the bottom. Probably don't need as much on that side. Real subtle, but it just makes the eyes pop. Sweet. That's what we're doing, and some cleanup to be done if need be. Maybe some ear hair, something real simple. Classic cleanup things that you see. The main purpose, you can clean up all day. The main purpose of this was to show you how to cut out in a studio setting and create a window look all day, every day, anywhere you want to go, as long as you can fit I shoot this at about 135 millimeters at about 3.5. Some people scold me for saying that's too shallow of a depth. I like it. I like it a lot. I've even shot at 3.2 and it works out just fine. And that is the way to do this for men. And so let's do a before and after here. I'm going to group this just to show it. Right here, there's before, after, before, and after.